So as we get closer to the midway point of the NBA season, two things are very apparent. One, the NBA championship is as wide open as it's ever been. And two, as we get further on to the NBA season, teams are separating themselves into two categories. One half being the gunning for an NBA championship contender role, and the other half being the tanking for Wemby crew. And at that point of the season, the Orlando Magic looked like they were in the latter half of those teams. One of the only 5 teams to have a single-digit win marking at the time of the 30-game mark in the NBA season. The Orlando Magic looked like they were just a team throwing their young guys out there and seeing what really stuck. But right now they've won 7 of their last 8 games, and they were on a 6-game winning streak, unbeating the number 1 seed in Boston Celtics twice. So what changed in this small amount of time? And I give you Markelle Fultz. Before I get started, hi, I'm FLB. We've been making basketball content on YouTube for a little minute now, and it's been picking up some traction lately. So, if you enjoy basketball content, I'm your guy. We post 4 times a week. Now, it's a little disingenuous to give Markelle Fultz all the credit for the Orlando Magic's really playing as well as they have over the past, I'd say, 10 games, because they do have two 20-point per game scorers in Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner that have been playing very well. That could be all-stars this year if the Orlando Magic keep playing as well as they have recently. But it's hard to not realize just the change in how they play the game, especially on the defensive end since Markelle has been back. Before Markelle came back, the Orlando Magic were a bottom 5 offense and a bottom 5 defense, but since his return, they've been about a middle of the pack offense and a top 10 defense in this game. And you watch them, and you get a feel that this team had a lot of talent on it. Of course, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Bol, Cole Anthony, and so on, but it felt like they were missing something. They had a lot of size, but they didn't have that orchestrator that can really control the entire game and the flow of the game and take over during fourth quarters and really make the decisions for this team. It was more of a kind of take it, it's your turn type of thing between Franz Wagner or Pablo Banchero when the game came down into crunch time. But since Markelle has come here, it has been a world of change, because the greatest difference you see in how this team executes itself is shown in the fourth quarter. Right now, the Orlando Magic in these past 8 games has been a top 10 fourth quarter, a top 5 fourth quarter offense, and a top 5 fourth quarter defense in this league. Whenever the game gets to crunch time, they've always been able to show up. And a large part of that is Markelle, that you can see in those games against the Celtics, where he basically took over in the end of those games and really brought these guys to a win. And even in games where they lost against Atlanta, he put up some very good numbers and was almost able to pull out that game. But, DeJounte was able to seal it. But even with losing that game, this Orlando Magic team has basically showed that Markelle is basically the perfect point guard for this team. Not too ball dominant, so you allow Franz and Paolo to really work their way and control most of the game as offensive superstars they are, but be so commanding of the team that you're able to set them up defensively and play a role whenever you do have the ball in your hands. And you're able to let your defense be your offense, which is a way that works best with this Orlando Magic team, since they don't really have a tons of shooting on this roster as is. So how exactly has he been able to change how this team operates? Well, one of the main things he's been able to do is set a pecking order for who controls the ball during crunch time. And it's largely been him, and he's been able to make decisions and put people in the best positions to help this team score and play defense. He is one of the main voices on the defensive end, directing traffic and putting guys in the best position, and also being able to make the correct rotations and slides. And even though he's the craziest on-ball defender, he is still pretty good on that end, so you don't expect him to get beat one-on-one all the damn time. But on the offensive end, he has also created a sort of synergy with Paolo Banchero to the point where he assisted on about 5 of Paolo's buckets in that Boston Celtics game. And while the numbers don't jump off you at the page right now, because as of right now, in those 8 games, he's only averaging 13 points per game and 5 assists and 1.3 steals. Pretty good shooting splits, even though he hasn't been taking that many threes. It's still the impact. This is one of the situations where his impact just isn't shown in the numbers. And he's only been playing 29 minutes per game since he just came back. They're still, trying to, bring him back slowly. So as the season does get deeper and he starts playing 36 minutes per game, you can definitely see him being a guy that can give you 18 and 7 next to Apollo Banchero that's giving you 20 points per game easily a night, and a guy like Franz Wagner that can also do that on majority of nights quite easily. And while Mo Wagner has been good in his absence, when Wendell does come back, you give this team an even better pick and roll and pick and pop option that's also a very good interior passer and an elite rebounder in this league. So now this team is fully complete once he does come back. You have your lead guard in Markelle. You have a lot of switchable wings and forwards in Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, and Bull. And then you have your center and your backup center in Mo Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. And you still have some tradable pieces down there like a Terrence Ross, Mo Bamba, and RJ Hampton. And you already have your six-man scorer off the bench in Cole Anthony on this team. Like I said earlier in the season, this team is one of those teams that can definitely surprise you. And even though they've been injury-riddled throughout the entire regular season so far, now that they're getting healthier, we're starting to see just the true potential this team does have. So to wrap it up, Markelle Fultz is going to separate himself as one of the better point guards in the NBA if he's able to stay healthy. Silky smooth mid-range jumper, whether it's a pull-up or it's a spot-up. His three-point shot is a work in progress, but as that comes along, that only opens the game more. But he has almost an innate ability to get to the rim, and he's a great finisher around there. Innate feel for the defensive end and to be an orchestrator for this team. He's just perfectly what this team needs. But even with that being said, at most I see them being a play-in team. I don't think they can probably make the playoffs this year, but that's still a very large jump in the right direction, especially with Paulo Banchero coming on and looking just this good already. The thing that makes it so insane to me that how good he is that he's already getting like elite star player level whistles, getting 9 free throws a game. He really knows how to initiate contact and sell the calls to officials, and he does have a nice offensive game. Even though it's not complete, he still can become a better shooter from every single spot. But once he does get to the rim, it's almost money. So this team is perfectly fine. Give him a year. Hopefully everybody does stay healthy. Right now you have Jonathan Isaac, who I don't even know where he fits in on this team. Maybe he's a nice tradable piece if he gets some minutes and shows something. But you have him in the G League looking to come back soon. Overall, this team is fine. They've been playing great, and Markelle's been the largest reason why they've been playing so great lately. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is upbeat. That's my time, and I'm out.